Sometimes it's hard for me to believe, but I'm actually 31 years old. These are 6 things that I now value in my 30s that I really didn't value that much in my 20s. So the first one is emotional mastery. And I think if you look at a lot of successful people, you will find that it seems like they're pretty even-keeled most, if not all the time. And I really don't think it's that they don't feel anything, but it's that they're able to take in information, process it, and then create the correct response to each situation. And what I found as I've gotten older is that I think this starts with being more grounded and understanding who you are. Oftentimes, the reason why we may get offended is because we feel like it's directed at us. And I know I felt like that a lot of the time. When people would say things or situations that arise, I took it too personally and my response was reactive. So whatever first emotion that came to my mind or first thing that I felt, that's how I would respond. But as you become a little bit more confident in yourself, as you're able to see the bigger picture of a lot of things, you start to recognize that not everyone is pointed in animosity towards you. And if you're able to separate personal feelings from a lot of situations, you can then have a more productive response for the whole situation and everyone involved. Another area that I really struggled with this was I really like to be right all the time. And I think what helped this is as I got older, I really realized that I don't know a lot about a lot of things. So when I started to drop my ego and not view every single conversation or confrontation as I need to win, but I'm just trying to understand where they're coming from. And this has helped me so much in confrontation, in dealing with other people that we may have differences in. And I think that's part of mastering your emotions is understanding that you don't need to be right all the time. The next one is having intentionality in every single area of your life. And what I mean by that is you don't live life blindly, just taking things as they come and seeing where it goes, but is strategically trying to take control of your situations. This year when I turned 31, one of my employees asked me, what is one thing that you want to change in this next year of your life or a resolution? And at the time, I really didn't have a response because I hadn't thought about it that much. But I really thought about it, it was that I want to live life intentionally. I don't want to do things because of how other people will view me. I don't want to do things predicated on what people feel about it, but I want to do them simply because I choose them. And I don't think this is a selfish way to live because it's more in the framework of just making decisions consciously. And with that also comes responsibility. Because you made decisions consciously and because you chose them, if they go bad, you also understand that you have to take on the consequences that come with that. We only get one chance on this earth. And I don't want to go through life feeling like I just did things because they came to me, but I want to live life feeling like I did them because I chose them. And I think just living consciously allows you to be more present too. So I had a stroke when I was 27 years old, and going through that experience, it really made me realize the importance of your health. I was really like a go type of person. I had all these ambitions. I wanted to build all these companies and do all these great things. But when the stroke happened, it really made me take a step back and think about what is actually important in my life and what do I want to spend my energy on. So I lost a lot of abilities during that time. I lost complete movement in my left side. I lost the ability to talk. I lost the ability to walk. I lost the ability to eat. So I had to slowly learn all those things again. And it really just made me think like I'm not going to be here forever and my body is slowly going to deteriorate because that's exactly what life does to you and that's the natural course of life. So how do I give myself the best chance at longevity, not just in my physical health, but also in my mental health? So now I'm much more conscious of not only what I put into my body as far as what I eat, what I drink, the food that I consume, but also what I feed my mind. Because one thing that I've learned is what I feed my mind really makes a difference on how I actually physically feel. Not only do I only get one chance at a physical life on this earth, but I only get one body while I'm here. So I want to do the best that I can to take care of it in what I put into it, doing some exercise, and also monitoring it using things like technology, using apps, going to see my doctors regularly, and making sure that I'm in constant communication to make sure that to give myself the best chance that my body can be in the best shape that it can be. I think something that I learned partially through having the stroke was the importance of energy management. There's a lot of things in my life, in your life too, that will just take up a lot of energy and a lot of headspace. And there's a lot of things that we actually don't even realize that it does. It can be simple things like thinking about work, thinking about friends, spending time with certain people. And going back to that whole point of intentionality, a lot of that comes down to my energy management is being intentional about what I spend my energy on. So before I used to say yes to literally everything. And I just wanted to keep going. and I wanted to hustle. And I think I justified it because I told myself I was hustling. But eventually I got kind of burned out. And not only that, after having this stroke, I'm just much more physically tired, doing a lot of things that didn't used to tire me out. After a lot of what I went through physically, I realized that I also don't have the mental capacity for a lot of things. By nature, I am an extrovert. And what I mean by that is when I am tired, I want to go out and spend time with people because that's what energizes me. I realized that that's no longer the case, and I started to take out a couple hours a day or once a week to really just do nothing and focus on myself. A lot of things in life are not only physically tiring, but they could be mentally exhausting as well. And being intentional about where you choose to spend your time and your energy will affect both of those areas. So now I really try to be more conscious of my energy management and recognize that I don't have to say yes to everything, that I can say no, and I strategically choose the things that I want to put my energy towards because I value them and because they're important to me. All right, so this is one that I think that a lot of people have very idealistic thoughts in their head about, but until they get there, it's really hard to truly understand, and that's choosing a partner. So I got married late last year, and we just passed about a year in marriage. And what I thought that I valued earlier in my 20s, I realized that they weren't necessarily wrong, but they weren't the actual things that make a marriage work. Things that I used to value were making sure that they had the same hobbies or the same interests. And I actually think it's more fun when you date someone or you meet someone and you're actually kind of opposite, because you're able to enjoy each other's company and show each other the things that you like. And if they just like being with each other, they will enjoy experiencing those things together. So I don't think it's necessarily wrong or bad to have different interests. And the other thing that I realize is there's a difference between loving someone and liking someone. I don't necessarily think that the people that I like is by choice. So for example, if I meet someone out in the public and I'm just talking to them, we may click on certain things, but it's not necessarily a choice. I just kind of like them for whatever reason because maybe we're similar. But the people that I love, there's definitely a choice in whom I love. And so I think it is equally, if not more important, to like the person that you choose to marry. You like being around them, you like going on vacation, you like their laugh, you like the way they smell. All those things I think kind of add up into this big picture of I love them because of this. And I think lastly, one of the most important things that I learned in finding a partner was the most important thing was having a clear vision of 10 to 20 years, what our lives will look like and are they aligned? For example, like a question that I would ask her is, in 10 years, regardless of what I think and regardless of, like, take me out of the picture. What is an ideal situation for what you think the trajectory of your life will look like? And if it's on this path and mine is on this path, then I think it's going to be really hard for us to meet somewhere in the middle and make a long-term marriage work because our visions are not aligned. So I think discussing this and having at least a similar vision of where you're going together, regardless of who it is, like in their ideal world, I think if that aligns in the long term, you have a much better success at marriage. And number 6 is legacy thinking. Before, when I was single, I used to always say that I want to build things for my future family. And I think after I got married, it really started giving me a tangible reason why I wanted to do the things that I was doing. And even past that, it started to really make me think about what are the things that I want to pass down to the next generation. So a lot of people want to build generational wealth, and I think that is good and that's very honorable. But passing down wealth alone is not really what makes a successful person. So I really started to think about the things that I want to pass down are values and traits. And passing down values to my kids will hopefully make them steward and manage the generational wealth correctly. But rather than working so hard now to figure out how can I just pass down, X amount of millions of dollars to my kids, but what type of person do I want them to be? Those are the values that I want to pass down to my kids and hopefully my grandkids. Sometimes I don't think too far ahead, like, oh, are they giving me care 3-4 generations down? I realize that a lot of those things are really out of my control. So probably the most practical thing that I could do is just focus on the next generation after me, making sure that my kids are not only financially taken care of, but that they understand values, they understand why they do things, and maybe they learn a little bit of what's on this list above. So I'm not really talking about legacy as far as my name or my DNA being passed down or even my wealth. It's that future generations will hopefully learn a little bit of the things that I value, and hopefully they will value them too. So that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you have learned in your 20s and hopefully that you want to get better in your 30s.